Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about crowdfunding, we're going to talk about making comics, and we're going to talk about how comic book pros are running out of options because they're really persnickety about which crowdfunder to use.
There's more options than ever, but they're running out of options that fit their, suit their
moral compass.
There you go. Even though the problems they're making aren't necessarily true, like they're like literally running from shadows that aren't really there.
We're gonna talk about this. This is like I've never seen an industry, and this is kind of true of webcomics too, because we saw this in webcomics back in the day. We did webcomics, and it was kind of the same thing where people literally would like blow up their own careers.
They would.
You know, for some moral high ground that doesn't even exist. Really, it's really kind of dumb. But I guess you can kind of view it as Darwinism. I don't know. We're gonna talk about this. Comic pros turning their nose up at Kickstarter and Indiegogo, the two largest crowdfunding platforms, because both of them are now problematic. Both of them are problematic.
But Patreon is still okay?
I guess for now.
But Patreon is the one of the three, that's the one I'd be most concerned about, because that's the one that has had the, nebulous rules that can kick you off at any point in time for any reason if they felt like it that day.
Yeah, but they haven't turned on that crowd yet.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
They
None of them turned on that crowd. That's the kicker.
Yeah, they just don't like them for various
reasons.
But
they've turned other things like Patreon and Kickstarter against people, and that's okay. But now they're gonna piss on that too.
So we're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna talk about our own plans for crowdfunding going forward, because we actually did crowdfund Shadowbinders, a reprint of Shadowbinders.
We did.
And we're going to do more studios projects going forward. Now, we have a second channel. I don't know if people are aware of this. A lot of people aren't aware of it. Mostly we've been doing gaming content, but we're actually going to move more of the art content over there. So this channel is going to be for gaming and art, basically all the stuff we make. And as part of that, people have asked us about doing Patreon. They've asked us about other ways to support us. If you go to that channel, I'll put a link in the comments. We actually have an option to join as a member over there, and that will give you access to past live streams over there, which we actually do a lot more often. It's so weird. Everybody's like, when are you guys going to do a live stream? We do a ton.
Well, you guys do. If you like the kids are all over that channel. I mean, they're everywhere on there.
Our kids are all over
our kids.
That channel.
Pinky Boo and Squid King, if you like them, because they've been on the channel before. If you want more of them, they're on the gaming channel.
Yeah, so that is where we basically have fun. That's kind of what we started out doing on YouTube. And then unfortunately, we've got people coming into comics and YouTube that don't want to have fun.
No.
They don't want to have fun. They want to gatekeep, and they want to make things very difficult and very political, which is why we started talking about the things that we did. Now, just to back it up a little bit here, more and more companies, more publishers, more individuals are using crowdfunding to get their stuff made. And it really blew up during the pandemic. And even companies like Boom Studios and game developers are all using crowdfunding now to get their stuff made. It's a great pre-order system.
It's been for a long time.
For 12, 15 years.
They always act like it was a new thing. It's like it's been around for quite a while. Webcomic people used it for like a decade ago all the time.
Yeah, and I remember, and I bring this up at every chance because it still sticks in my craw, right? I remember when crowdfunding first started. And I remember the mainstream comic book industry telling webcomics people they were just a bunch of e-beggars. That if they were really serious about comics, they would go find a publisher. And nobody wanted to pay for their stuff. They had to beg for money from their parents or whatever to make comics. Now the same publishers either are on the rocks or they've had to resort to crowdfunding themselves, and I think it's fantastic. I do, because I remember Fantagraphics in particular, and I've done work for Fantagraphics. I like Fantagraphics, but I remember there were people that were like, "Oh, you're just a bunch of e-beggars," and then they had to e-beg a couple $100,000 to stay in business. Anyway, it's funny how all this shit, this karmic boomerang, comes back to get you. Kickstarter, we've done multiple videos talking about how they had gatekeepers at Kickstarter. Kickstarter would boot your project, especially in comics, because they had people that did that sort of thing. They're literally as their job. They would boot you not because your project was problematic, but because they didn't like you.
Right.
Personally.
You might have voted for somebody they didn't like or something like that. And oh my God, the humanity.
You don't tweet enough. You don't tweet enough of the things that we like to see. So no, you don't get your project on Kickstarter.
So they kept the hell out of that, and then got themselves a union, and that got kind of, some of those people got outed or ousted, and then now everybody that they've catered to is turning on them because of crypto. Because
Kickstarter announced that they're going to use blockchain technology. And here's the thing: I think it's so funny. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, blockchain's burning down the environment." Your Twitter usage probably does more harm to the environment than blockchain. And beyond that, I guarantee you, like every website 5 or 10 years from now is going to use some form of blockchain technology.
Well, if you're using credit cards and banking, wouldn't that be,
Yeah, it's all going to switch over to that. This is like Web 3.0.
But I'm saying it would be using it now. You know what I mean?
Some places do. Yeah, PayPal.
Not crypto. I'm just saying using the internet usage, and they're saying about it has to go through all those things now.
Where do you think the websites live? Where do you think Twitter lives? On servers. And what do those servers do? They suck up electricity. And how do you get electricity? How do you get power? You burn down trees. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You're all guilty of harming the environment.
Go tweet more.
Go tweet more, please. Go do. But the thing is that the crypto blockchain is not going anywhere. This is the way the internet is going to be going forward. And a lot of websites now, I think it's so funny. And I put that out on Twitter. They're like, these people are like, well, we can just take payments over PayPal and we don't have to use any website that uses blockchain technology or advocates for crypto. Bitch, please. PayPal lets you buy crypto now. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you that more and more of these banking apps are going to use blockchain and crypto technology going forward. It's just the way of the future. It's the way things are going to be.
Right. And, like it or not, I mean, right or wrong, is what it is.
Please, stay off the internet.
Yeah, please.
Please do.
By all means.
You don't have to use the internet. But if you want to use the internet and make money on the internet, you're going to have to deal with the reality of blockchain. But these comic book creators, because they're always look, we dealt with this in webcomics too. Very quick to misunderstand what the hell was going on, whether it's a contract issue.
Oh my God, yes.
Or whatever, and they would all rail around some issue. It's like these people, they sit around all day, draw comics, tweet all day.
I love it. Like there'd be people that had they get like 100 views a month maybe on their comic, and then they'd mad terms of service.
They can steal my stuff.
I'm like, trust me, 90% of you aren't in danger of that. I'm not sounding mean. I'm not mean to be mean. I'm just like, people that would get the most offended by it are the ones who weren't getting anywhere anyway and wasn't going to impact them anyway.
Yeah, I remember Tapas and Webtoon. There were some webcomics people that were angry that their terms of service were kind of iffy. And it was basically like, we might use your comics or part of your comics or whatever to help promote the service. And they're like, oh my God, they're going to steal my idea. It's like, your idea ain't worth shit. If they're going to steal anything, they're going to steal freaking Garfield or something.
And it's easy. Just don't use it.
Just don't use it. Don't use Kickstarter. So that's the issue. So now everybody is sort of milling about trying to be like, oh my God, we can't use Kickstarter. Now, before Kickstarter, it was, we can't use Indiegogo because Indiegogo won't ban Comicsgate people like we want them to. Yeah.
Right. So they start labeling everybody over there. If you aren't one of us, you're clearly a Yahtzee.
Yeah. So if you go to Indiegogo, right, as an alternative, Indiegogo, which is based in San Francisco, they were like, oh my God, Indiegogo is funding the alt-right. So Indiegogo, their attitude is as long as you're not breaking terms of service. And there were some books. Look, there were some books they pulled down. They thought were too risky, too political. And it went against, their terms of service, or they thought it was too sexual or whatever. And they're within their rights to do that. The difference between Kickstarter and Indiegogo was that people at Kickstarter, employees at Kickstarter decided you were the problem, not your project. You were the problem. And even if your project was PG or PG-13, you weren't allowed to use the platform because they said so.
It's another one of those, like we see all over the place with Twitter and everything else too. Only certain voices are allowed to be heard.
Absolutely. And they get really pissed off when...
Sounds like Yahtzee.
Yeah, I know, right? It sounds like another, yeah. But they get really pissed off when the companies decide at some point that they have to make money. And they're like, we can't do this. And also, you're just a grunt. You're an employee. It's not your job to decide for the company, on behalf of the company, that you don't like this person because they tweeted something you didn't like, and now you're going to keep them off the platform.
Right, because sometimes and here's the thing that's so silly to me, is the people that they label like these terms, a lot of times aren't even what they label them as. And then they get all ass mad, and then they get like they're gonna do everything they can because somebody told them. And just because they didn't agree with you on something, they don't like the same cartoon as you, doesn't mean that they immediately did something else that was terrible, like kick puppies or something. That doesn't mean they just didn't like the same cartoon as you. Not a big deal.
I love this. This is coming from bookriot.com, this article. This is like a couple of years ago. And I've noticed this too. They deliberately, there was a media blackout of Indiegogo. And I remember...
Oh yeah, we talked about that before.
Oh yeah, they will not talk about it. Like Comics Beat, Heidi McDonald does a rundown of all the Kickstarters coming out, comic book Kickstarters, whatever. She will deliberately ignore Indiegogo because some Comicsgate people or Comicsgate adjacent people or people she doesn't like.
Or people they label as Comicsgate because they didn't agree with them on something.
Right. But they were using it. And meanwhile, there were, DC artists using it. Sean Gordon Murphy used it, and they tried to concern troll him. They were kind of like, you can't go to Indiegogo, Sean Gordon Murphy, because that's where the alt-right goes.
We need to make sure that you only come through our gate, not somebody else's gate. But what's funny to me is, but they sure as hell want to count those numbers when they count comic book sales and North American comic book sales. Yeah,
they do. But I love this. This sums it up right here. Of course, there's a dark side to crowdfunding platforms. I avoid Indiegogo as a creator and consumer due to that platform's affiliation with Comicsgate. This is why I focus on Kickstarter primarily. Now, here we are. Here we are.
I know. Well, this amuses me too because there's people they keep labeling as different things and they aren't even those things, but they just decided.
Yeah, so I put out over the summer because I got tired of the bullshit because I was like, look, there are Indiegogo campaigns. It doesn't matter if you like the people running the campaigns or not. There are Indiegogo campaigns that shame Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And so I put together an actual top 25 list.
Well, if you go out to dres.com, d-res.com, that's actually a blog we have that deals with this pop culture in general.
Yes. And, you can see that there were a lot of Indiegogo campaigns. That were on here that were not being counted by the media because they were so ass mad about Indiegogo. And I think it's so funny because now they're ass mad at Kickstarter. So where are they going to go? Where are they going to go?
They're going to probably go to Indiegogo and try to kick people off Indiegogo. That's what they're going to try to do.
Well, they're trying to come up with options. Now, this article actually saw, Zach did a video on it. This is on bleedingcool.com. And they're basically like, here's the dilemma. It's like, we're going to have to come up with a third option because, we don't like Kickstarter, we don't like Indiegogo. But there are threads out here on Twitter. Now, please do not contact any of these people. I'm just pointing out that these threads are circulating, that they're trying to give people options that aren't Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Like people are like, oh, why can't we go to Indiegogo? Well, the founder of Indiegogo has a second project that focuses on crypto and NFTs. Indiegogo has regularly been used to fund crypto projects. And so because of this is why people no longer want to support Kickstarter. I didn't include it.
Here's the thing, people. You're going to have some issues here. Because any payment place you want to take payments from or anything for these places are going to have ties to crypto. If you're going to be like, if you're crypto adjacent, you're a band, you're going to be in trouble because pretty much anything you use, you're going to find is going to be somehow connected.
It's all going to go there. Even PayPal, if you're taking
It already is.
Yeah, if you're taking payments on PayPal, guys, I don't think you realize you can buy crypto on PayPal right now. And you have been able to buy crypto on PayPal for like a year or two. It's been a while. Because I bought Ethereum a while ago.
Oh my God.
PayPal.
They're using the internet. You know what's on the internet? Crypto.
And porn.
So I'm like, but you can't be anywhere near it. But they're still on the internet. Oh my God.
So they're trying to come up with alternatives. And again, look, I'm not shading Tiffany here. I'm just like the links that people are going to try to avoid Kickstarter and Indiegogo for various reasons. You are hurting yourself because those two platforms right now are the two biggest, hands down.
People aren't going to know. I mean, a couple of these I've heard of, most of these people don't even know. They're not even going to go there because they don't even know about them.
I mean, Kickstarter's new comics person, she quit. She quit over the blockchain thing. You do realize, like, all your banking apps and all PayPal, all this shit, all these companies, I guarantee you, they're going to jump on the bandwagon eventually. They might even use the Kickstarter engine because Kickstarter's talking about licensing out their crowdfunding engine.
WordPress is doing crowdfunding?
You can do like direct PayPal payments or whatever.
But that's what they used to do in comics before they even had crowdfunding.
Yes, I know, right?
And it was via WordPress.
Yeah. And PayPal again.
Oh, my
PayPal,
head.
I can't wrap my head around this. And
Oh,
then,
look, it's your payment processors, Stripe, PayPal, Square. You want to bet those all are involved with crypto?
I'm sure they are, yeah, because PayPal, you can pay people in crypto, for sure. Coffee, a lot of these are like.
I never heard of half these. The only ones I heard of was Coffee, Zoop, because that's a joke. And WordPress.
Yeah, Zoop. What they're trying to do.
They take the biggest percent too.
Oh my God, 10%? Are you effing kidding me? But hey, your morals and your ethics, right?
Right. Yeah. How much is that worth to you?
So here's the thing. Nobody's going to find you on one of these other platforms. Zoop might get somewhere with comic book people, but you got to realize, like on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, comics are such a statistically small
Well, not
percentage.
just that. On Indiegogo and Kickstarter, as long as you get past the gatekeeping bullshit on Kickstarter, you could put any little comic person can put theirs up for crowdfunding. But Zoop was like being very selective. It was all curated, and
Yeah, so here's the thing. All these sites, I guarantee you, within the next couple of years, because Kickstarter's other plan, beyond the fact that they're going to use the the crypto engine on their site, they're going to license that technology out. I guarantee you.
That's what this is all about.
If you host your own WordPress site and you want to do crowdfunding through it, I guarantee you the top plugin is probably going to run on this Kickstarter crypto engine, this blockchain engine. I guarantee you these other guys, these smaller, they'll be like, wow, it actually works really well, and that's less work we have to do, and they handle it. Yeah, we'll just use a Kickstarter engine on our website. You're not getting away from it. You're not going to be able to run away from it.
No.
This is, for better or for worse, regardless of what you think about it, blockchain technology is here to stay. Crypto is here to stay. And you can either get with the program or you can blow yourselves up. And the comic book industry, independent creators especially, very, very good at blowing themselves up.
I think it's just faux outrage, and it's just being made because they want to have control, and they're losing control. So don't go there. We'll go to these other places where we can get in there and control it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They want Zoop because, Zoop, I think Camilla Zhang from Kickstarter is involved in that now. So they basically, Kickstarter shut them down. Kickstarter kicked her to the curb, and they're like, yeah, we want to make money. We got to make money. They kicked her to the curb, and now they're all like, oh, let's go Zoop, and we can keep that. We can keep the Yahtzees out of Zoop. Good luck with that. You're going to have about 20 projects, or you're going to have 200 projects that are like a bunch of, weird anthology books that nobody's going to really care about.
Well, I mean, the good news is if you want some alternatives, here's a list.
There you go.
I mean, there's a list of different alternatives.
Itch.io? What the hell is
I don't
that?
know. It's on Refinery, apparently.
Fractured Atlas?
But this Tiffany put this up there, so hey, good job, Tiffany, I guess, on that.
Yeah, I mean, don't contact
Tiffany. There's these alternatives. But the difference is for all of these together probably don't even touch a fraction of what you're going to see backers and projects on Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Yeah, I think it's so funny because it's kind of like YouTube. People are like, oh, we need an alternative to YouTube, which I agree with 100%. I agree with it, but there's nothing out there that's even close. Sure, you can go host your own video on your own website, but that's expensive and a pain in the ass. Meanwhile, there's an audience already on YouTube.
Well, it's like we tell people to use Webtoon because, even though we think there's some weirdness there, and I don't think they built themselves up in a way that I thought was very nice. However, if you're looking for a place to go that you have an audience or that their eyeballs are there already and you have an easier chance of getting found, it's going to be on Webtoons. I mean, once upon a time you made your own websites, but that, there was a barrier to entry. You had to know how to do the websites and all that. Yeah. But, now, if you can go to one place where everybody's going, you might as well do that. That's where you're going to get found the easiest.
I just think this is so weird. So comic book creators are getting displaced from publishers because a lot of the publishers are folding. They're cutting back. And then they're like, okay, we'll go crowdfund. But no, none of the top two options are good enough for us. We can't do that because, for whatever reason, it's so stupid. I guess I don't know what to tell you. Darwinism? I'm not trying to be a dick, but do you want to make money or not?
Yeah. Because it's it. You can go to those other places, but you're probably not going to make money.
No, you're not going to make money.
So, I mean, everybody else is going to go make money. So, I guess.
Then you're going to complain. Then that's
exactly what's going to happen.
What's going to happen is they're not going to make money, and then they're going to go out to Twitter and complain that so-and-so's...
How much environment damaging tweets are they going to make?
Yeah, so-and-so's Kickstarter or so-and-so's Indiegogo campaign literally took money away from marginalized people, stole money from them, even though the marginalized people were putting their campaigns on these websites that nobody's heard of before. boo hoo hoo.
It's not even about that. It doesn't matter what if you're POC or white person or whatever. You're just gonna use it as an excuse. It's usually the white people yelling about it anyway. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it's true. Anybody who has a platform, that's the thing. Just at the end of the day, any kind of crowdfunding, it depends on your platform. You have to have a platform. You have to have built your own platform. Same with webcomics. People didn't understand. You can't just put a comic out on the internet and expect people to find it. You had to, one, it had to be somewhat decent, and two, you had to promote it, and three, sometimes you just had to get lucky, but you had to build an audience, and that's how you monetize.
But that's what I've been saying, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
The difference is at least on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, bigger like publishers are putting their projects on there too. But when people come to back that, you have a good chance of getting seen on yours. Here, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
So I think eventually these people will come around because they will realize they cannot get away from the blockchain. This is the way things are going to go.
But hey, good luck to those other platforms. I mean, maybe they'll get a little bit of a boost. You know,
maybe.
But but if they take PayPal's payment, it's still tied to crypto. So
we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.